Hi everyone, my name is Jason Abrams and I'm coming to you from Austin, Texas. I'm speaking today from the Win-Win Studios at the home of Keller Williams, KWRI. I want to congratulate you. As a matter of fact, I want to thank you and congratulate you because you are here today and it's so important that you are. Today, you're going to understand by the end of this why I believe that residential, commercial, real estate in general is the single greatest industry on the planet. And what you did, I don't know if you realize it, but you're all already almost there. You see, so much in life is simply about showing up. And however you got here today was the perfect way. Because somehow, in this crazy universe of ours, we ended up here together and you ended up in the right place at the right time. You see, so much of life is all about timing. The problem is we tend to miss some of the most important events because the world around us is going so fast and there's so many things to distract us. So before we start, and by the way, I won't keep you for an hour. This is going to be a short 20-minute discussion, but here's what I would ask. Let's give me 100% of your focus. Now, once you do that, it's on me to earn it and keep it. I promise you, I have something up my sleeve. But let's forget about the drama of the world. Let's forget about the pressures of the universe. Let's forget about whether or not you have enough money in your bank account. Let's forget whether or not you have enough time to be here. And most importantly, let's forget whatever happened right before this appointment, because that doesn't matter. The question that you and I are here to solve is what's going to happen exactly after this appointment. You see, the reason that the rear view mirror is smaller than the windshield is because we'd like you to spend more time looking forward in life. That's what this entire conversation is going to be about. Here's what Gary Keller teaches us. Now, you're going to hear that name kind of throughout the day today. Not only is he my mentor, but he is the person that helped put models and systems into the real estate industry such that all of us could have the things that we want. You see, Gary would tell you that leadership is simply teaching people how to think, so that they do the things they need to do when they need to do them, so that they can have the things they want when they want to have them. And what he teaches us is that real estate is a local business driven by local relationships. He also says that all answers in life, the good ones anyway, are found in the most simplistic forms. The challenge is everything naturally wants to become more complicated, but all success is always found in simplicity. So today, I'm going to try to break down in really short order the real estate business in general, and then I'm going to invite you to live the life that you deserve to have. Because here's the truth. We believe at Keller Williams in a very strict culture code. I use the word strict not because it's enforced with some sort of heavy hand, but because the ideals that set us apart, that we hold good and true for all people, we believe are good and true, not just in business, but in life as well. These things are in a very prescribed order: God, family, and business. You see, we believe that when we put the person together, the rest of the universe falls into place. So why residential real estate, you ask? Because we wake up every day and we simply ask the question, how many people do we get to help today? You see, homes are different than almost any other commodity. Nobody goes home at night and curls up with their stock and bond portfolio. They just don't. But they do curl up in their homes. As a matter of fact, the same kitchens that you have your best moments in, think of yours, are the same ones that you also might have some of your cries in. The same backyards where you see somebody take their first steps might be the same backyard where you throw that first football pass. And at the end of the day, the house, the home, becomes the backdrop for our lives. So we have an opportunity to go out and help other people find the backdrop for their life. The truth is, residential real estate or commercial real estate or any real estate that you decide to practice is an absolute increment part of the economy. 26% of all the wealth in these United States anyway is tied up in the equity in people's houses. So who do you think protects that equity? Friends, the first real estate agents got together in 1891. Since then, real estate agents have been helping people purchase what usually is the most expensive illiquid asset that they're going to have. We help people get over the fear of the unknown. We help people find the place where they're going to have their greatest moments. And in this way, we wake up every day and we simply ask the question, how many people do we get to help? But the truth is, most of the people that you know are going to be investing or owning real estate, whether you get a real estate license or not. You see, that's the thing about this. Ask yourself, why did you move the last time you did? Because a lot of folks get into a room like this and they say, I don't know anything about real estate. Friends, I would submit to you that you know almost everything you need to know about real estate. And all we're going to be doing is filling in some of the details. Why did you move the last time you moved? I'll tell you, for me, it was because I had a life event. That's why people move. They get a job, they lose a job, they find love, they get divorced, they have a kid, they become an empty nester. These are the reasons. They get rich, they get poor. We could go on, but this is what precipitates a move. And most people don't just move once. They move multiple times during their lives. We have this great illustration that I use to draw this, and it's really simple. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that way up here at this peak is when somebody moves. And of course, a real estate agent is involved. It's a great day for everybody. Housing dreams come true, real estate commissions get paid, and then this right here is the very next day. It's the very next day because they're on the bottom again, because think about you, nobody moves the day after they move because of you guys get it. But here's the thing. Every day after that, people get closer to moving again until they're right here, which is the next time they move. And then over here the next time they move. And then maybe they buy a piece of investment real estate over here. This is exactly how it goes. So the truth of the matter is, when a real estate agent becomes a fiduciary, and we're going to talk about that word in a second, we get to help people usually not just once, but 2, 3, 4, 5 times on their life journey. And again, this life journey is precipitated by the life events that they're having. The interesting thing about this, though, and you know this to be true, is the distance between people moving is about 3 to 7 years. Think about that for a second. Can you think of one other product that you've purchased where a bank or somebody else loaned you the majority of the money to do it that you then used for 7 years? And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, my car and automobiles like that. That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, that's how we define industry. They're the two most highly considered purchases for consumers, homes and automobiles. And we don't sell cars here yet. So let's stick with houses. The reason it's highly considered is because this dictates the way that people spend their time and the way that they live their lives. The home isn't simply just a thing. It's a collection of rooms located in a community. It dictates the way, all the way shopping, to walking, to driving, to where you're going to go to school, to all of the different things, which is why this is so important for people. We also know that when polled, people love looking at real estate almost more than anything else, which means you could say that looking at residential real estate in a voyeuristic way is almost the pastime of humanity, which would make sense because, let's be honest, housing is on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You see, we're hardwired as humans to want to have shelter. And as we've progressed, we want to have shelter that we like, that feels like sanctuary for us. I'm going to read you a quote from a woman named Mo Anderson, who was the CEO of this company for many, many years, talking about this thing exactly. So how do I tie this back to you? Well, here's the thing. As people get closer to needing to make this massive investment and purchase, they do business with whoever's in closest emotional proximity. And emotional proximity means closest to them at that moment, either emotionally or physically. So how do you get close to somebody emotionally? You see, there's a myth right now that some of you are thinking, which is, I'm not a salesperson. How could I possibly get into real estate sales? The truth is, every single one of you is a perfect, phenomenal salesperson. Daniel Pink wrote a book on it. It's called To Sell is Human. You've been selling people your entire life. You just may not have been selling them a product. But the fact that you're trustworthy, the fact that you have a good reputation, the fact that you want to wake up and help people, these are the things that you've been selling right now without a product. Isn't that accurate? Don't you wake up on a daily basis and influence the people closest to you to know you as a good human being? If you do, then just get really clear on the fact that you're in sales. As a matter of fact, the first person that most of us sell is ourselves, which leads us to our next myth. See, some of you are out there saying, I can't do this. Or you're saying, they won't do business with me. Or you're saying, it won't work for me. It might work for everybody else. Or you're saying, I don't want to go out and talk to strangers. Or you're saying, I'm not sure. You see, all of those things are simply a sale that you're making in your mind right now to convince you that you're not the perfect person for this. But I want to reassure you that you absolutely are. If you're the type of person that wants to wake up each day on a quest to help people, then you're a perfect person to become a real estate agent. If you're the type of person that defines their success by how others feels about their lives, then you're the perfect person to become a real estate agent. If you're looking for an absolutely limitless financial opportunity, and when I say limitless, I mean just that, then you are the perfect person to become a real estate agent. And if you'd like to wake up each day as a company of one, supported by a company of many, and make your mark on the world, then you are the perfect person to become a real estate agent. So, how does the real estate industry actually work? It's far more simple than you might be thinking. It's really broken into three parts. Over here, you have when somebody buys and sells a house. I'm going to put a dollar sign. This dotted line here, which is very close to it, denotes the period of time when the consumer gets really serious about buying or selling real estate. That's the day that they say, I'm going to do it. The distance between this line and this point is about 10 weeks on average. Then you have this line over here, and everything to this side of it we call lead generation. What is lead generation? It's really just loving people, to be honest with you. When we lead generate, all we do is we try to find people that we can help. But here's the good news. You already have all of the people that you need to help in your life. And I'm going to prove that to you mathematically in a moment. But think about all the different ways that businesses lead generate now. You have emails, you have mail that happens, you get text messages, you get phone calls, you see TV commercials, you see billboards. I could go on and on. These are all of those things that happen here. Then this giant area in the middle is this giant period right here. It's just simply people living their lives. What real estate agents do during that period is we follow up. We stay in people's lives, we make sure that we're connected, we ask and answer any questions that they might have about real estate, and we're just generally really great stewards of our community. So there's really only three parts of the entire residential real estate business. So if you're sitting there right now and you're thinking, I don't know where to begin, and this is probably really complicated, the good news, it's actually not. It's really simple. Now, I didn't say it was easy. I said it was simple. You pretty much now understand the entire residential, commercial, vacant land, raw land, looking for entitlement, real estate business. This is all of it in a nut jar. So what happens next? Interestingly enough, if you were to go get your real estate license right now, you would start on day one with plenty of classes to take and plenty of great ideas, but you might not have any clients. When polled, the number one fear that new agents coming into the business have is, I won't have anybody to work with. I'm new and no one's going to want to work with me. And I'd like to give you permission to release from that concern, because here's something that I don't tell everybody. I was new too. As a matter of fact, every single person that's in the real estate business was new at some point. That's the great part about our business. But you already have this amazing network of people. Play along with me for a second. I'd like you to take out your cell phone. Now, don't open it up to the face pages and the Insta Twitters and all of this sort of thing. Just open up your phone and let's go through this together. I'd like you to go to your contacts. Then I'd like you to scroll all the way down to the bottom of your contacts, and what you're going to see is a number, unless you're using an Android, and then who knows what you're going to see. But for most of us, we're going to see a number. So let's take that number. That's the total number of contacts that you have in your phone. And let's write that number right here. I'm going to guess that there's some of you that have 1,000 contacts or more. Well, let's just play the game. If you have more, raise your hand if you have contacts. You're crushing it. Okay, cool. If you have more than 250, keep your hand up. More than 500. More than 1,000. If you're in a room, this is getting fun. More than 1,250. More than 1,500. And usually when I say that, that's when a bunch of the heads go down. That's why I got to 1,000. If you have more than that, you're well on your way. Now, what I want you to do is take that number and I want you to multiply it by 6%. And for those of you that are math challenged, I make no judgment, that's 0.06. And that is going to equal a number. If there's anyone in the studio that can help me with that, that would be fantastic. What might that number be? Just yell it out when you know. Kelly, Cody.
68.
60, that's fantastic. See, and this is how we all play together at Keller Williams. That's 60. Now, why did I choose 6%? Well, there's all kinds of studies that show that about 6% of the people that are currently in your phone are going to have a real estate experience, either themselves, a sibling, or a quote-unquote best friend within the next 12 months. So now let's take that number, which is 60 transactions, and let's multiply that by whatever the commission average is in your marketplace. Now, I'm going to leave this, if you're here today, you're with a team leader, and they're going to help walk you through this because commission rates vary all over the United States. Prices of homes vary all over the United States. And what you're going to end up getting is a certain number. And that number is the minimum number of what you should be doing annually if you get into the real estate business, wrap your arms around the industry, and then follow up with frequency and intensity to all the people in your data bank. Now, why did I jump to a conversation about money? Well, it's really interesting. When we poll and we ask people what their biggest fear about getting into real estate is, they all say the economics. And I think people say that because, and if you didn't know this, just hold on to the seat and get tight for a second, this is an all-commission industry. This is to say that you will have an unlimited amount of earning potential. So here's the definition that I like to use around compensation. And I think this is massively important because there's a bunch of different cohorts that are watching this video right now. For some of you, you're looking for an absolutely limitless opportunity and you're going to go build your empire and riches in real estate. For others, you're just trying to do a couple extra deals a year because you're already having an amazingly big life in some other profession, and this is simply to offset. And for some of you, you haven't really given this much thought. And by the way, all of these different groups, you're perfect, and we're the perfect place for you. So how does compensation work? Well, compensation is something you get for something you give. This is widely misunderstood. Most people think they should receive before ever giving. We know that's not the case. It's something you get for something you give. It's repayment for a contribution that you make that's needed and useful. I want you to write the words needed and useful down. And let's never forget that compensation is comprised of four things. Number one, the need for your service. Friends, I'd like to address that right now. Make no mistake about it. The need for housing has never been more acute worldwide than it is today. Everybody needs what it is that we do, and we need you to be a part of it. Number two, how well you perform it. Now, how well you perform it is going to be on you, but that's why we're here. You see, we wake up every day and try to make you the best real estate agent on the planet, and we're pretty good at it. The next one is the difficulty in replacing you. And let's get really clear on that. Once you become absolute fiduciary for your people, it's going to be very difficult for anybody to replace you. And the last one is the number of people that you get to serve. See, the interesting thing about Keller Williams is we're the largest real estate company under one brand that the world has ever known. I'm going to let that sink in for a second. We're in over 50 different countries. We're really good at this. So the number of people that you're going to get to serve is going to be a bigger number than you could actually fathom right now, because here's what I believe, and so does Gary Keller, is that the top real estate agents in the planet, the ones that are going to do the most business, they're not yet in the industry. It's actually you. You see, our industry is changing at an amazing rate, and what we're doing is actively going out and trying to find the next generation of the greatest real estate agents on the planet. That's what Keller Williams is. So now you understand compensation. You understand exactly how the real estate industry works. You understand the economics of how income comes into real estate agents. I'd like to address one more myth that you might have in your head, which is there's so much to learn, I don't know it and I won't be able to. Here's the thing. I'd like to think about this in knowledge versus wisdom. You see, I believe that we are on the quest to find both of those things at any given time. By knowledge, I'm referring to the specific intake of information. When you read a textbook, that's knowledge. When you're going to listen to the team leader in a moment, that's knowledge. You're getting pieces of information about a specific topic. Now, wisdom, I believe, is something totally different. You see, I believe that we're all born with a unique and divine soul, and within this soul, we have all of the wisdom that we're ever going to need. And in many ways, we think of this as quote-unquote common sense. And if you've been following along and you've been getting the feeling that this feels right to you, that's your wisdom. You see, life is all about finding the people that can give us the knowledge to simply unlock the wisdom that we already have inside. So when you go and you see some amazing speaker like a Gary Keller or the team leader that brought you here, and you feel something unlock, you might say, oh my gosh, I got such an insight from that person. But I'm here to tell you that's actually not right. Insight, the word itself, means you couldn't get it from outside. It's a sight from within. All you did in that moment was find somebody to unlock something that you already had. You see, that's the journey that we'll be going on together if you decide to move forward at the end of this video, because you're about to have to make a decision. The decision that you're going to get to make is whether or not the world deserves to have you be their fiduciary. It's a massive decision. You see, if you decide to become a residential real estate agent, what you're really deciding to do is go out and change as many lives and as many communities for the positive as possible. It means waking up every day and not just having a good year, but having a good career. It's as much of a calling as anything else. For some of us that have been in the business since we were kids, and I joined out of high school, I kind of think we're unemployable anywhere else. We just don't realize that until we get here. And then we look up and realize that we mark our days not by the number of phone calls that we may have made, and certainly not by the number of dollars that we acquired, but by the number of people that we got to help. You see, this idea of going out and changing the planet one homeowner at a time is something that I believe deeply in. Keller Williams came on the scene, and at that time we had office managers of all real estate companies. By the way, if you go out and you meet with other companies, you're going to meet a lot of office managers. We don't have those here. We have team leaders, and it's different. You see, office managers try to control today and try to manage the way things are. And team leaders spend all of their time thinking about the future and wake up and define their success by the speed by which you got to your success. If by any chance you've met one of these extraordinary humans, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. At the end of this video, you're going to be spending some more time with a team leader, and you're going to talk about market-specific conditions and exactly what being a real estate agent in your city, in your state, and in your country is all about. But I want you to be clear that the ideals are the same. The culture that binds us is universal. The limitless opportunity is universal. Loving people and helping people is universal. And the reason that people need our services is universal. I want to read an excerpt to you from a book called A Joy-Filled Life by Mo Anderson. When you join Keller Williams, you'll hear all about Mo. She's a very special lady. And she says, I realize now it isn't about your certification or credentials. It's more about having the ability and the passion to do something and the confidence to do it well. These qualities are just as important or even more important than a professional certification or a piece of paper saying that you took some class. Ability, passion, and confidence are what help you discover your true voice and sing your unique song for the world. I would learn this lesson again and again in all my years as a teacher. I want you to hear that, because I know that even I tried to bust the myths, but there's still some of you that don't think this is for you or think you might not know enough, or you're saying, I can't. Friends, if I can leave you with anything, it's that every single one of you can. Everybody at Keller Williams wakes up every day and we try to help you build a big business so that you can go fund and power a big life, maybe even bigger than you've dreamed. You guys are in the right place. You're in the right time at the right company. I'm begging you, on behalf of you, take the next step and move forward with us. Come figure out what a limitless life looks like. Because here at Keller Williams, when we honor God, family, and business in that order, we find the best rendition of ourselves and the best rendition of our company. I can be completely candid with you and say we're missing something, though. The thing we're missing at KW, we're missing you. Come join us. I hope you do.